show's called, the 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 show's called.
Welcome to Dying Laughing with your hosts, Tim and O.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Dying Laughing. I am one of the hosts. I'm O.
And I'm not.
You're not a host?
I'm not O. I am a host.
Okay.
I'm Tim.
He's Tim. And we are very, very excited to have you guys here today. It's an episode 5 for season 2.
It's like season 2, part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. We're fancy.
But we got a real good show. As we always do, we start off with try to start off with a little intro. I was going to sing, but I don't know if I can really sing that well. What about you? Can you sing?
I can, but I wasn't going to.
That's a good thing. So we're going to shoot right into our first segment, which is called, How You Feeling?
I'm feeling good, man.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We did the motorcycle ride.
Yes.
Great success. I didn't die, so,
That's a
great success.
That's
huh?
a great start.
So I made it all the way from Los Angeles to Lancaster County in one piece. I only lost one little piece of the motorcycle, hardly important.
Really?
Just a little side panel that covers the tools.
But it was a BMW, so one little piece could be probably like $1,500.
The little piece it's a little plastic cover that covers the tools. The plastic cover is $134. Now,
wow. You
also have to add the R18 first edition badge, which is sold separately for an additional $34. Man, I love BMWs. Those Germans know how to get you.
Yes, they do. So you did it. I don't want to minimize it. You did a big thing.
Yeah.
Traveling across the United States.
Yeah.
Share with one uncomfortable situation.
Oh, geez, uncomfortable. The most uncomfortable I was riding from Atlanta to Virginia. It was my second to last day.
Atlanta
I've ridden
to Virginia.
3,000 miles at this point, and it started raining pretty much as soon as I got into Tennessee. I got into the Smoky Mountains.
Wow.
And it started raining, and it rained the whole way to Virginia. It didn't stop for hours and hours and hours. Sitting in the rain on
and you just kept going?
What are you going to do? You just got to keep pushing through it.
You could pull over. There's plenty of things you could do.
Then what am I going to do? I'm just sitting in the rain.
You could find shelter, then pull over, find shelter, and then wait it out.
I could do that.
Okay.
There was no waiting the storm out. This is the kind
you.
of storm that covered the entire East Coast. I wasn't waiting it out in any meaningful way.
Yeah, that's understandable.
By the time I got to Virginia, I had never been so cold and uncomfortable in my life. My boots were full of water. I bent my arms and water would just squeeze out of my jacket like a wet rag. My visor was all soaked and foggy, so I picked it up a little bit to get the fog on. Now I got water on the inside and the outside. My hands were soaked through. I had heated grips, and I could feel them if I squeezed really hard.
Okay.
But that's a horrible thing to do when you're trying to ride a motorcycle in the rain, is to get all tense.
So, outside of all of that,
yeah,
everything went well?
Fantastic.
Okay, gotcha.
We're going to talk more about that and other projects we got going. I don't want to spoil the fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something. So how about you, man? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful time. I'm at that point where I am coming to grips with the reality that they're not probably coming up with a cure anytime soon. So yeah, I'm feeling relieved. I've went to a couple of doctors and had some second opinions about how things go, and I heard the answers I needed to hear. It might not have been necessarily what I wanted to hear,
right? But
I heard what I needed to hear, because at this stage right now, I'm at the point of thinking about quality of life as I live with this cancer. But outside of that, life's great.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm healthy. I got a 6 month leash.
Ish.
I got a 6 months extension. I just came from the doctor.
You're good.
yeah, so I'm pretty cool.
So what were the answers that you got? That this is just not something we're going to come up with a cure with? So stop hoping for one. It's not going to happen anytime soon? Like, just this is what you got? Or
Nah, so more so like, it's more so, seeing if the cancer is progressing.
okay.
That's obviously a very important thing to know.
Yeah.
And then yearly, I have tests and examinations based on like the major things, the major things, the chemo side effects could do, heart attack, stroke. So they do a lot of pulmonary type tests once a year, kidney functionality, heart, and I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. And then there's all kinds of tests with my bones and checking for the bone density, the thickness of them, and see if there's lesions on it. And so all of those tests are, and when those time frames come, I don't know how it is for other multiple myeloma patients, but it's always there can be a lot of anxiety in those moments.
Oh yeah, scanxiety.
Scanxiety.
Yeah.
I love it. That's what we're gonna have to do. Book that, Danny O, on a t-shirt.
I've got scanxiety.
Scanxiety. But ultimately those tests came back all positive.
So there's no need to be scancious.
There's no need to be scancious.
Yeah. That's better.
Well, your time off has done you well.
Scancious.
But yeah, so we like to, that's what's pretty much going on with that. And so that leads us into our next segment, which we like to call, we'll put some sound effects in. We like to call Vital Signs. Vital Signs.
Yeah,
we got some vital signs. So Vital Signs is the segment where we like to try to check the pulse and the the blood work on what's going on in the world.
Should we maybe kind of explain what we're doing, because we're not laying it on very thick?
No.
How we're kind of going along with like a doctor visit.
Yeah, I hope that people would catch that.
I would think so. We
have
smart listeners.
Yeah, we have very smart
but just
listeners.
in case one of our smart listeners brought one of their dumb friends.
Yeah, I don't think we should say dumb. Ones that have difficulty comprehending.
Maybe ones that are not up to speed in our particular blend of humor and satire.
Yes, it's some sarcasm mixed with some other kind of stuff. But yeah, we're trying to do a theme towards the whole dying laughing.
Yeah. We're poking fun at the doctors.
Just poking fun at the doctors. So the segment is Vital Signs, and I think my good friend over here will start off with his vital signs.
So yeah, there's 4
results.
Cool things that happened in the cancer world in April. The first was that it was my birthday.
That is true. That is true. I won't say the date, but it is in April.
But it is before yours, which is why yours is the second cool cancer thing
that
happened in April. I ranked it in order of appearance, not importance.
I'm glad you did that. And it's not age. So that
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. So yeah, yours is before mine. So that's 2 things.
Right. Mine is before yours on the day scale. On the year scale,
yes,
yours was first. So I think we balance out. The yin and the yang have balanced
we're
the universe, and we're square.
Yeah, we definitely.
So those are the first 2 things that were cool in April. Is that it was our birthdays. Happy birthday! Oh,
happy belated birthday to you.
I got you the same thing that I got you last year.
And that was probably
excellent.
Yes.
Yes, excellent.
It was the thought. You got me an incredible thought.
Incredible, and the thoughts are really what counts.
That's what counts. That's what's counts.
The other thing.
The other thing.
Speaking of thoughts and awareness, April is since 1938. The President of the U.S. has proclaimed April as National Cancer Control Month. So this month is dedicated to raising awareness for cancer prevention and treatment throughout the U.S. So since 1938, we've known that this was a problem.
Yeah, 1938.
I wonder what the commercials were like to raise awareness about, helping cancer. Like 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Winston's over Camels for their cancer needness.
Yes, please try these Camels. And Surgeon General, he might not even been a surgeon at that time. He might have been
the barber general.
I think he would have been the intern.
The intern general.
The intern general.
I was thinking that long ago, like the barbers used to do surgery.
Well, they did.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So the barber general was
that's a great point. That's
See?
that's a little fun fact.
See, that was part of that humor we were talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what we were trying to explain. But it is amazing
Right.
when you think about that since 1938, we've known about cancer being a problem.
Our thermometers come with only the finest mercury.
And the things that have been cancerous that we have ingested or inhaled over the
Right,
years
yeah,
since 1938.
The list has probably gotten a lot longer since then.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another not bizarre, but another cool fact about April is, would you believe this? April is Minority Cancer Awareness Month.
It's nice how those overlapped.
It's weird how that overlaps. This is a real thing. 30 days are dedicated to reminding black folks that they have a higher risk of cancer in general.
What kind of ad campaign does that look like? Like, what poor guy has to write that?
Who
ad
wrote
campaign?
this copy?
I don't know, man.
But like, it's a real thing. I mean, I got this. This was taken from the Rosa Parks. I don't have the full. I'll put it up on the screen, but it was from a publication that was credible. But yeah, April is Minority Cancer Awareness Month, and
Well, happy McCam.
Happy-
Minority Cancer Awareness Month. McCam.
That's a good one.
McCam.
I mean, I just can't imagine that we're just at risk.
Did McCam imagine?
We can't
sorry.
imagine that we're still at risk all this mechanical time.
It's amazing.
But anyway, those are four.
4 fun April cancer facts.
See, that's that cancer
Yeah.
from the thing.
Yeah.
But like I said, we wanted to share those facts with you, and we're gonna go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back with the topic of today's show.
The show's gone. The show's gone. The show's gone. The show's gone. The show's gone.
Tim Card is signing up to save lives. Please join us welcoming Tim to our 2023 Central Pennsylvania Visionaries of the Year candidate class. Tim Card is a realtor with Century 21 Home Advisors, a local philanthropist, and the first person to receive CAR T-cell therapy at Penn State Cancer Institute. Tim had a whirlwind of a cancer journey and decided to ride a motorcycle across the United States, sharing his story and advocating for better treatments and medicine for blood cancer patients during his campaign. Follow Tim's adventures through Facebook as he raises funds to bring change.
Oya is a podcaster, a father of 3, and a notable artist in the Delaware hip-hop community. He's currently the co-creator and co-host of the Dying Laughing podcast. Oya is making his second appearance in the Visionary of the Year race and on a mission to use his unique voice to spread the word about blood cancer, his experience, and his struggle just to get to a diagnosis. The doctor explained to him the average lifespan after diagnosis was 5 years and that he just needed to stay alive long enough for the technology to catch up. Well, 5+ years later, he's still fighting because the technology keeps improving. He certainly plans to continue thriving despite having multiple myeloma but can't do it by himself. That's right. We are asking for your help. There's so much truth to the saying every dollar counts, so any amount you can donate goes all to the LLS for research to find a cure. Donate today and be part of the cure.
Well, welcome back. Thank you for the words from our sponsor, the law firm of Dewey, Cheatham and Howe.
Yeah. Welcome back to Dying Laughing season 2, episode 5. The episode is entitled The Waiting
Room, right? Yeah.
The waiting room. You know, I just want to say something about waiting rooms. One of the things that bothers me to no end is you have an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these folks call you up. You get on the phone. Hello, yes, go through all the motions. Set up the appointment. Then they tell you, hey, look, we need to show up 15 minutes early. We got to fill this out. We got to do this and that.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. You get there. If they happen to get you in there on time, That's great. But here's the killer. They'll get you in there and say your appointment's at 1. They get you inside. Then they walk through the weight thing, all the vitals, and then they have you sit in the examining room.
Right.
Now you sit in this damn examining room for like 45 damn minutes.
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, like, I would have preferred to be in the waiting room for 45.
Right.
You're not making me feel like the appointment was on time.
Right.
Because you brought me back into the examining room at the time of my appointment. But I sat around, and I don't know if you've ever been through that scenario. You know, I'm playing the can I hear him coming from the next examining room over.
Can I violate HIPAA rules?
Yeah, like I'm listening, hoping like I hear a sound in the hallway. Cuckoo, cuckoo. I hear it. I'm like, oh, I think he's coming to my examining room, and there's like, nah.
Nope, he kept going.
No, or he's in the one next door.
Yeah, the doctor will see you now isn't what it means. It's just another smaller room with worse magazines.
Yeah, exactly. So I always hate that, but back on topic. Today's topic, we're going to get a little serious and try to be our naturally comedic self, because laughter is the greatest medicine God created, or it's certainly a great drug. Today's topic is life goes on.
It does.
That's what today's topic is. Life goes on, and
we were talking about that from two different sides, right? Like,
right.
One is that we're dying laughing, but not soon. Like,
Correct.
Like,
right.
We're actively doing it, but we're taking our time. Like, it's a
Right.
slow burn before we're dead. Life will go on. Like, we're going to continue living. We have things to do.
Right.
And our life is going to go on after this and during this, and hopefully for a long, long time.
And and that's the way you have to. That's to me the best way to proceed with any terminal illness, any diagnosis of a terminal illness, is that, one, you're traveling down this stream of life,
right?
That suddenly gets interrupted, and then another aspect of it is that what you said earlier, the diagnosis. Diagnosis doesn't mean you're dead.
Right. I'm not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
I feel like that guy from Monty Python, right?
Yeah,
I feel like going for a walk. I'll be quiet. You're not fooling anyone.
What's the South Park character?
Kenny.
Kenny.
You killed Kenny.
Kenny. If Kenny was, if cancer was, I would want to be Kenny.
Oh, man. Everybody calls me Timmy, and I'm not sure why. I don't get it.
Kenny definitely died every episode, but he was back in the next episode.
Life goes on for Kenny.
Life goes on for Kenny.
It's not nearly as rough for us as it is for him.
No, it isn't.
But yeah, like our life will continue. Like, we want to stay alive. We want to stay in this club.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the Cancer Club. We don't like being here, but we want to stay in it as long as we can.
Yeah. So, we talked about the, on that street, we're traveling down that stream of life. And what that looks like, explain that to me and what that means to you, Tim, and how you see that in your own, maybe based off from your own experiences.
Yeah, I think the vision I had when I was talking about this, the image I had was just like you and everyone around you are all kind of following these similar paths, and for a while they all, whoever is in your path, all kind of comes together, right? But then there's little side streams that shoot off, and little things that go around and here and there, and and you get sick.
Mm-hmm.
You're off on one of the side streams. Right? You're out of the mainstream, out of the main flow of the whole thing. You've kind of removed yourself. But two parts of that. One is that while we kind of are off in this little side river that's not moving very fast and is getting stagnant and full of yuck.
Yeah. And as you branch off, it turns to smaller,
worse
like brooks,
creeks,
cricks, or however you depends.
But everyone else's life, their life went on too. Like,
correct.
When we got sick, the world didn't stop around us.
No.
When I was in Arizona with my son Colby on this trip, that's one of the things that I was talking with him about. Is that, like, I feel like I missed some formative years with him.
Right.
Because not on purpose. I wasn't an absentee dad,
exactly.
Right? But I wasn't really present either, and all the kids, like, they all, like, David started kindergarten and I missed it. You know, Nick was graduating high school. You know, I was barely there for that. You know, like it's just all this stuff that just kind of.
It's like time standing still, but yet it's still
It's
moving.
not,
You can
right.
see it.
Yeah,
right?
like yeah, and you're kind of sitting on the sideline, like watching everything just drift farther and farther downstream from you.
Right.
And still trying to somehow stay relevant, and it's tough, man. It's a tough thing to deal with while you're watching things happen around you, and your big brown recovery chair.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's something real that we haven't, at least I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. You know,
Exactly.
when we're getting our treatment. You know, they talk about you're going to feel sick and you're going to lose your hair and you're either going to poop a lot or not nearly enough,
Right.
or you're
Right.
going to have sores in your mouth, they're going to taste bad, and you're going to sweat through everything, you're probably going to vomit. They tell you all that stuff, but they don't tell you that, like, also you're going to be sad.
Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't come in this elaborate
Right,
pamphlet that they give you.
of all the side effects
Yeah.
that they have to talk about, you know, sad that you're missing out on your family's life
Right.
isn't one of the side effects that usually comes up.
Yeah, and you spoke about family stuff and how time just still keeps going. And, when I take a look at some of my personal experiences and then listening to other folks, testimony, that is a huge thing.
So what I was saying was that, one of the side effects that I'll tell you about is that you're going to be sad.
Right.
And that inevitably you're missing things that are happening around you that you would have liked to have been a part of, and you can't be.
Yeah, you mentioned that about your kids and missing out on things, and the whole point is that while you're dealing with your therapy, whatever that might be, life is still going on in your own circle. The world is still moving along, and so it's not just like personal things with your family. Depending on the length of your treatment, you could come back into the world not with things being different, a law being different, some different technology, different rules that can lead to you being into a different type of tailspin of trying to deal with life after whatever this illness might be. I know for me, the challenge was more like you said, started with, family and the children. Then it progressed to, the reality is, even though you have cancer, you still, I don't know about everybody else, but you still have dreams.
Mm-hmm.
You still have things you would like to do. And you start to realize during this time frame, like, other people, the things that you might wanted to do, places you might want to go, people are still making moves to doing that. Yours has came to a complete halt.
Right.
The only thing you're thinking about is getting better. That's your primary concern.
Yeah.
Even though you still care about your family and all those things. But if you're not right outside of, it's outside unless you got a good insurance policy. I mean, if, and we don't want to go down that route, but unless, there's really nothing you can do.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that you were dealing with the day before you were diagnosed probably didn't get solved the day after you got diagnosed.
Right.
You still got the same problems, right? If your relationship is a mess, now it's just a mess with cancer, right?
Exactly.
If the rest of your health was a mess, guess what? Now you added cancer to it. If you hated your job the day before you got cancer, you probably hate it more the day after you got cancer. Like that stuff doesn't disappear just because you got this this big, huge, hairy, audacious thing that jumped into your life.
Right. I mean, it's once again, it's just diagnosis doesn't mean you're dead.
Right.
I'll just elaborate more on what you said. Whatever you were before, and if you were alcoholic before cancer, you're gonna. And I don't mean any disrespect to any of the folks that might be struggling with that. I'm just trying to get the point across that the things that exist that we don't want to talk about, just like you said earlier, mentioned about the stores and all. That's the stuff that's the obvious during the treatment. We're talking about after the fact, and even during the treatment, I guess as well, is talking about the things that maybe are a little bit taboo. For instance, I mean, you still are alive and breathing, and some people, I mean, you still want to get a little, you start to feel a little frisky sometimes.
Sometimes.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes bald is beautiful. I'm telling you.
I'm just saying, we're not talking about, we're not endorsing Manscaped, man. I mean, what I'm saying
Or
is,
not, if they want to, throw on the sponsor.
But I guess my point is that, we're not dead. And
right.
So, there's kinky times. There's times where you want to laugh and just have a great time and not think about, like, I have some kind of illness.
Right.
Some of the times where, it's late night and you're just not feeling that great, and you're up late night dealing with that. Those are the that's the stuff we need to talk about, like those times of the night where somebody calls, you call them, and sometimes you just need somebody to listen. There's nothing really depending on the circumstances. Sometimes
right.
There's nothing they really can do besides listen. And just speaking from my personal experience, that's all I need sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I just needed I don't need an answer. I know there isn't one.
Right.
I just need to say the problems out loud.
Just need to say the problems out loud and know that they're...
And maybe just like someone tell you're not crazy. That is a problem.
Right.
It's not in your head. Like that,
right.
You're right. You're onto something.
No, I mean, if you are in a position where you can be a good ear for someone who's going through something, you can't imagine how valuable that is to that person.
Yeah.
That you're not judging them. We already know not to call the people that's going to say something crazy. We did an episode a long time ago about people, all the wrong things to say to a cancer patient.
Yeah.
Which there is.
Yeah. Don't call that guy.
Don't call that person. But ultimately, just being in that space where just because I have cancer, I still like to laugh. Mm-hmm. I still like ride my bike. I still like doing these things. I believe that it's not that you can't do any of the things unless you're in a position where your illness has really got you, and there's different levels to this.
Yeah.
But we're talking about where you're just kind of maintaining, or you just come from treatment, but you have some kind of residual effects from that treatment.
Yeah.
But even more so during the treatment, you still might want to do things that you like. You just might not be able to do them exactly the same way you could before. So if you like to garden, you might not be able to sit out there for 3 hours straight and garden,
right.
But you could go out there maybe for 15 minutes at a time.
Right.
So it's just about mindset, man.
And that's kind of what was spinning in my head too, to make this positive a little bit on the way out the door. That life goes on, and that could also mean that all the things that make you,
mm-hmm.
all the great stuff,
yeah,
right, all the things that make people want to be near you,
mm-hmm.
that's still there too.
Right.
You're still all the good stuff too. You're not the sum of all your problems plus cancer. Right. You are also all the things, all the amazing things that make whoever you are in the heart of you makes that up is still there.
Yeah.
Right. It's still there. So you can still be you, and that's, and one of the things that I think actually helped with me when I was sick was that it stripped away a lot of stuff from me that wasn't you.
Yeah.
Like it got rid of like all the things like, man, I'm too tired to pretend.
Yeah.
I'm too tired.
Cancer has
to
a
try
funny
to
way of peeling back all the phony layers.
Yeah. Like, and even talking about like, dreams, like it helped me solidify a lot of these dreams. Like
mm-hmm.
now I need to do this.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I get through this, if I get through X, I need to do Y. right? For me, it was hiking in the Adirondacks with my wife.
Okay.
We had been talking about going.
I might not have chosen
To the
that my first
Adirondacks?
choice of getting things done, but
No, I've seen the horror movies. You die first, right? But either that or the dumb girl in her nightgown. She also usually dies very early. But you're second. But we've
Always.
been talking about going to the Adirondacks. I love the Adirondacks. I love like upstate New York and the high peaks and Lake George. Oh my gosh. I don't know what heaven smells like, but I hope it smells like the high peaks in summertime.
Okay.
It's so good. But we've been talking about it for years.
It just doesn't sound like a place a black person might have went.
Oh man, there's not many.
I'm absorbing what you.
You can come with me.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take that.
So
maybe.
It'd be fun. So we've been talking about it since before we were married.
Okay.
Yeah, and for one reason or another, we couldn't. Usually because we were having a baby, or just had a baby, or have a lot of babies.
Okay.
Like it usually revolved around. Not that I'm regretful of having the children.
Yes.
But you messed up a lot of plans. So
I don't think it was their fault. I really want to think that. That some. You have to take an adult responsibility. But
Yeah.
I mean, Anyway.
We could go on and on.
Yeah. Anyway.
But anyway, so I remember when I got when we were going to the appointment in November where Dr. Raymond told me I was cancer free.
Mm-hmm.
On the way there, we're saying, what do we want to do? If this goes the way we think it's going to, what are we doing? So we're going to the Adirondacks. We're going to go hiking, and we did.
That's
that
right.
summer for our 20th anniversary. We got out into the woods.
And
Trish is a trooper, God love her. She did almost no training, and we walked 13 miles, a half a marathon, through the high peaks in the Adirondacks. I went over, I think, 4 of the 46 top peaks in New York State. Like,
man,
hills.
women have just a whole adjustment level
They're
that's
tough.
just different from
Their
a
tolerance
man.
of pain is significantly higher than ours.
Significantly.
Man.
Yeah, I don't want any parts of anything they got to do with pain.
No. So my point was like that you go on, and one of the positives that come out of this is that it strips away a lot of the you that maybe isn't.
Mm-hmm.
The you think other people want to see, the you think you have to put out to the world so that everybody likes you, right? And it gets rid of that. You're just not enough bandwidth to handle it anymore.
No.
The challenge, I think the brave part is to keep that stuff that wasn't you out when you're not fighting anymore.
Yeah, that's a whole nother a whole
other
nother
conversation,
episode,
yeah.
Whole nother conversation. But no, you're absolutely correct. Those things that are beautiful about you, the things that you did or do like about yourself or did like about yourself prior to your illness.
Yeah.
I think you wind up doubling down on those things.
Yeah.
It also makes you, when you understand that life goes on, it starts to it makes you make some really tough decisions.
Yeah.
Makes you make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
Some of them might not be the consensus. They might not be
Might
well
be a popular
received. They
decision.
might not be popular decisions, but because of what's going on, they are the best decisions. And I think a lot of times the folks that might be affected by it don't see it the same way because it is difficult for them to relate
Well,
to the
a lot
circumstances.
of people in your surroundings have a lot invested in the you that you projected to them.
That's true. That's true.
So,
yeah.
When you start taking
that's
that
what it is.
away, you torpedo a lot of relationships.
Yeah. Their investment. It was a pandemic that happened. It crashed a little bit. They lost some of the profit on their investment, and they don't know how to get it back. But in seriousness,
Yeah.
I think, and this leads us into our wonderful last segment as we end the show
Yeah.
is any last words?
Speak now.
Any
forever hold your
last
peace.
words or speak now or forever hold
Oh
your
no, that's
peace.
for a wedding, not a funeral. My bad.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, 6 of 1.
You could be dying laughing at a wedding. You know what I mean?
Anyway, so some famous last. Any last words for us, though?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to wrap this up in one big bow for our viewers, our listeners. Life goes on in the shape or format that you want it to. However, you have control over the things that you have control over. And what that means is you can't worry about whatever the disease you have and if it's curable, or if the surgery or whatever therapy they're going to use is going to work, because you can't control that aspect of it, but you can control your mindset on how you think about it. You can think about that the therapy is, and I see my voice got totally different when I was staring at the.
Get close to the mic and
let me I got to do it like.
Damn, Joe Jones, what's going on over there?
But in all seriousness, you can control your mindset and how you let these things affect you, or how you let. We got all kinds of sound effects up in here. I love it.
I think that just overheated.
You know what that was?
What's that?
That was the oxygen monitor.
That was the O2 monitor.
I think
Something's out of juice.
We're not doing it so well.
Something's out of juice over there.
But to wrap it up in a bow is you can control your mindset. And if you control your mindset, figuring that life does go on after, or whatever your illness might be, we're speaking about cancer, you start living your best life. I know it sounds crazy. That's my experience, is that with this disease, even though it's not always balloons and confetti, I have experienced some incredible things. I've met some incredible people. Checked some things off the bucket list that I kept saying, I'm going to do it next year when I get all these different excuses.
Yeah.
And I think that what winds up happening is when you get to that point where you understand life goes on, you start doing things that really matter.
Yeah.
So that's my life goes on.
Hey.
So, any last words for you, my friend?
Yeah, I think you should live in your best life. I that always rubbed me the wrong way. It's so much pressure. To live my best life. So I want to do is live my favorite life.
Oh, okay.
And that means that there's got to be mistakes that are made.
Okay.
Right? And that's all right. Right? Because that's part of being a person. That's part of adulting is making the wrong call. But then what you do with it and how you fix it and how you move on is part of the beauty of it. And there's something that's wonderfully imperfect about that. And so I always try to live my favorite life.
All right. Man, you got this whole Robin Williams kind of grin on you.
Trying to sound like Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, he was trying.
All right.
That was more like Morgan Min. You know what I mean? That was more
it's about as coherent.
It had that kind of vibe. But
yeah, man, just be, and that comes back down to what we're talking about. Like, be the you that's you. Right? Because deep down in your core, you're a good person.
Yeah.
Like you're inherently good. And we've all come with some bruises and batters along the way, but who you are is amazing.
Yeah.
So figure that out and lean into it.
Lean all the way into it.
Only thing that's going to make you happy.
Yep. I couldn't agree with you any more so. So I think with that being said,
I've been waiting for you to say that the whole episode. I wanted to put a dinger on. That being said, ding. That being said, ding. Put a tally up.
So, as we said, I won't say what he just said, but we like to say thank you again for joining us on the Dying Laughing program. Please keep in mind that there's a multitude of resources out there. From the LLS to the IMF when it comes to multiple myeloma.
Right, not the International Monetary Fund.
No.
They won't help you with your diagnosis.
No. This is more like, Myeloma Foundation.
The Myeloma Foundation are probably more helpful.
and there's tons of resources for whatever type of terminal illness you have out there. We are not doctors. We call ourselves professional personalities, I would probably say.
Yeah.
But we are patients.
Right.
And so we were patients and we've been caregivers. And so we base that on facts and a little bit of information. But
And a lot of anecdotal evidence.
yeah. and a lot of laughing.
A lot of making universals out of a particular.
Yeah. But what we like to say is we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for listening to the Dying Laughing podcast. And here's to staying alive.
Staying alive.
Ha, 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 staying alive.
Very nice. Thank you for that. For the Bee Gees.
Show's gone. The show's
And we're
gone.
out.
The show's gone. The show's gone. The show's gone. The show's gone. The show's